Good evening, folks. Welcome to the Adafruit Show and Tell. My name is Melissa, and tonight I will be hosting. And we're going to go ahead and start out with Scott here.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm like deep in the weeds of debugging. I'll show you my output anyway. So I've been working on.
Oh, sorry, I put the wrong thing there.
I had now my window is shared with you. So I've been working on getting USB host working on the RP2040. And right now I'm like printing out a bunch of stuff that's debugging. I'm trying to get the IntelliKeys working, which is this. Let's see if I can get a corner of it here. It's this like touchscreen thing that I'm sure folks who have been around have seen, but I've got it running into RP2040 Feather here, and I'm trying to load the firmware. And I wrote the code to load the firmware, and noticed it was like really slow. Like 2 seconds between 16 byte chunks, which is like way, you shouldn't need 2 seconds for 16 bytes. And I also just noticed that like if I'm doing something on the drive, it actually goes faster. So there's something that's happening, that some delay that's causing me to slow down. And so the debug stuff that you have here is I'm logging to the UART. So I actually have a separate USB to serial converter. And I'm showing when the TUH, so that's the host stack, is running. And those of you who use TIO, one cool thing about TIO is you can actually put it in a mode where it will do the diff, the time diff between print statements. It's really, it would be handier if I didn't have so many prints. But it's a great mode for if you want to be able to like kind of do some coarse timing for things. You can actually just like print one and print another, and you can see it'll show you the difference between the two. That's a TIO tip, I guess. And so yeah, I'm working on USB host. I've got it working pretty well. Maybe let's see. Let's just go for it. So what I'm doing is I had this dongle I showed last week with the IMX, but I'm going to plug it in and see if that does anything. Maybe I can Control C my running code. Doesn't look like it.
Oh, okay. So this is for USB host stuff.
Yeah, so this is all USB host. So the TUH is like the prefix that TinyUSB uses for the host side of things.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got it working with this keyboard that I showed with the IMX, and now I was trying to get the IntelliKeys working and hitting this timing issue. So I'm trying to figure out, and you can see it even here, like there's some 2-second waits here. And I don't know why it's waiting 2 seconds. So that's the tricky thing. Why is it waiting 2 seconds between things?
Yeah, it's 2.13 something.
Yeah, but I was also seeing some like 4.2s. So it was like, it's a very weird number. It might have to do with like timer rollover or something. I don't know. So yeah, I'm trying to figure out why that is. And like I thought it was just the sleep code, and then I put a print in there and wasn't getting the sleep code. So like, I don't know. So yeah, I'm deep in the USB host weeds, but making good progress. Had some issues with multi-core. So like core 1, people have wanted to use both cores on the RP2040 in CircuitPython, and we kind of like pushed back and not doing that. And so now this is our second case where we're using it internally. So the first one was Pico DVI. We're like, it's busy. It's busy all the time. And then this is the second case where we're using it to do the low-level USB transactions, plus both PIOs and 3 state machines in those PIOs. So it's pretty intense in terms of resources under the hood, but should be pretty cool. So that's what I'm working on.
Well, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and it did stop running my code because it's just showing TUH task now. It's weird. I don't know why it's waiting 2 seconds every now and then, but I'll figure it out.
Okay.
Cool.
Well, thank you.
Thanks, Melissa. Thanks for hosting.
Yeah. And next we're going to go ahead and have Liz come on.
Hello, I'm very excited for USB host. Very excited that Scott is talking about
Sorry,
that.
I got the wrong thing there.
No, it's all good. So this little device here is an Ikea air quality monitor. I think it's called a Vindrixning, and it's fairly cheap. It's like 12 to 15 bucks. And it's got a PM1006 air quality monitor in there. So I thought it would be cool to get it to actually connect to the internet and log data, and also with CircuitPython. So this dashboard that you're seeing is my Adafruit IO dashboard, and inside, which I'll show in a second, is a CircuitPy ESP32S3. And so it's taking the data from the PM1006 over UART and then logging it up to Adafruit IO. And so now I'm just going to unplug it and show you what it looks like inside to do that. So
Okay, you want me to?
Oh yeah, if you could make my video big, that'd be great.
Yeah, let me just figure out how to do that. Oh, here, I think I did that.
Perfect. So thank you. So inside, I've got the, let me get a good angle. You can see there's CircuitPy there. It's just hot glued. And then it's just 3 wires going in there, power, ground, and the UART going to RX. And I was very excited that I was able to do this without being destructive to the electronics, because there are test points on the PCB. So I'm just pulling power, ground, and the data signal. So everything else on the air quality sensor is running stock still. So like the LED still works. It's still polling the sensor every, I think it's like 30 seconds. You can hear the fan power on, but everything else is fine. And so the CircuitPy is getting power through its battery pads under the USB, and then just that RX pin. So this is going to be a guide. So there will be the CircuitPython code, and also I walk through how to do the dashboard setup and also how to do alerts with Adafruit IO too. So I set it up so that you can get alerts if the air quality goes above a certain amount via text or email. So that should be out next week. And yeah.
Cool, thank you.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks. And next up, we are going to have Noe.
Hey, hello. Yeah, so this week I came up with a little 3D printed case for the Feather RP2040 with DVI. So it's just a simple... Yep, it's okay. Yep, so it's just a simple case that snap fits together. There's no screws needed. It's got 2 mounting tabs, so you can attach this to something else. And there's a little slot here, so if folks want to have wires come out or cables, they can do that. And then the top cover has some little features, so it snap fits onto the case like that. And then there's these little live hinges that allow you to press the boot button or the reset button. The little hole here is for the NeoPixel LED to shine through. And then we have a little hole. Yeah, and then we have a little hole here for the stem QT. So if folks want to have a breakout board, they can add that without having to take the cover off. So you got the DVI, the HDMI port here, and then USB there. So pretty straightforward. It's a lot like the USB host Feather case. So I'm going to try to do one for all the Feathers like this. But yeah, I got the files up on the Adafruit Learn system, so that's public. I also have it on printables, and I'll probably get it up on Thingiverse and other places too. But yeah, really simple 3D printed case. No supports needed for anything. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I've been having a lot of fun with the Feather DVI. There's a lot of fun screensaver demos that Phil B put together.
Nice. And, I haven't had a chance to power it up yet.
Okay. Yeah. Well, definitely check it out when you have a chance, and maybe make a case if you need to
oh yeah, good idea.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
Thank you, and thanks for stopping by.
Thank you. Bye, folks.
And last we have DJ Devon 3.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so this is a continuation of my male LoRa boombox, which is RFM powered, and Dan H had a suggestion to do a rangefinder test. So this is battery powered with a ESP32S2 reverse TFT. So just let me plug in a battery here. So this will continually ping this. So I took this out for a drive, and so that I could see just how far it would trigger from. And then I used basically a Wi-Fi camera with my phone in order to actually look at the mailbox to see if it was still triggering no matter how far out I went. I got about 200 feet right around the corner. So for everyone who's interested in doing like the RFM messengers, it's really not going to go far unless you have this pole antenna like mounted on top of your house in order to go far. About the farthest range you're going to get from this in a suburban environment that has like, you know, houses in the way, because line of sight is very important, it's probably just within the next couple of houses over. Like it's not going to go very far unless you're on a hill looking down a mountain into a valley kind of thing. You know, I'm in Florida, so everything's flat, so it's not going to go very far. So that's just what I wanted to show, is the actual range that you might want to that you might get from an RFM.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, little RFM range tester.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thanks. And it looks like we had one more person stop in. This is Micah.
Hello.
Yeah.
So I've been working on a lot of different projects recently, but one of them has been a desktop gamepad. So, you know, the regular game controller you kind of hold like this, there's the joysticks. But I thought that isn't very ergonomic if you're sitting at a desk and you just kind of want to have your hands like this, like on a split keyboard. So I thought I'd design one. So I did. And let me just share my screen real quick. Can you see this?
Let me add it to the stream there. Yes.
So I did a little diagram, this is actually a few months ago, of your hand on the game controller. It's going to be two halves of it. So one for your left hand, one for your right hand. And so I just started with designing the left half. And there's a little joystick for your thumb, D-pad for your index finger, a trigger for your middle finger, and 2 buttons for your ring finger and pinky.
Okay.
And over here I've got the 3D render. So I designed what I think is a cool logo. This cool like split in half game controller. And I've got over here it says desktop gamepad version 1.0. Real gamers use joysticks. Because
nice.
Even though that's not really true, but I thought it was fun. And then here's the D-pad, this little thing. And this is going to connect to a joystick that that is a replacement joystick for the Nintendo Joy-Con for the Switch. And it's kind of messing up the silk screen is kind of messing up everything else, but there's a Hall effect sensor here for a slider and a couple other buttons over here. And yeah, that's about it. So I'm excited to keep working on this and just thought I'd show off my progress.
Looks good. Thank you for showing us.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And that's it for show and tell. Stick around, and the Ask an Engineer will be on at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And thanks for watching. And thanks to everybody who stopped by.